Hey everybody, Peter Gander here. Great to have you here on, what is it, 9/13/2022 Nexus Ecosystem AMA. Of course, guys, you can ask questions. You can put them in the Q&A. It's probably going to be a pretty quick one today. You guys know Otherverse just did their FNFTs. We're still in the hunt for Star Babies to mint on the 28th. And of course, we're still in a bear market, right? Those are, I guess, the important features of the AMA. I have to tell you guys, I just got off of a phone call with one of our partners and another gentleman, a younger guy, probably in his late 20s, has built an amazing fortune by creating value. And the conversation that just took place was just, you know, it's one of the things that's been on my mind in the last week or so is, are we as people, society, not we as in, you know, me and Corey and Don, but we as society, are we really going to seize this opportunity for a decentralized future, for something that has the balance between society and decentralization that allows it, or are we going to relegate that to the wealthy today, right? To the small few chosen, the centralized system that's there. You know, for a long time now, society has just been saying, well, you know, I just want to, you know, be able to, you know, sleep my 8 hours, go to work, come home, enjoy my weekends, maybe have a cheeseburger occasionally, go out to dinner, go to the movies, but I'm going to let other people figure out the direction of our world, whether that's politicians or their boss or someone else. And it's just basically handed the keys over. And then all of a sudden, blockchain technology comes along, this concept of decentralization brought to us through the development of the web and all the stuff that has been built. And I sit and I think, and right now we're using the web right now. I mean, we're on Zoom, right? I've said this a couple times before. I used to have to go to Kinko's at the time. It's now the FedEx store, of course, right? I used to have to go to Kinko's and sit in a little room, and they would break out the video conferencing equipment, about $100 an hour to do it. And we would have video conferencing calls, and you do it sparingly, right? Because a couple hours would cost you a few $100. But here I am today, 20 something years later, 30, 25 years later, I guess. And I'm sitting here on a product called Zoom, and I'm talking to, you know, there's probably 25 people on the Zoom. You know, we're broadcasting this. Think about that, guys. Think about broadcasting out. And here it is, you know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the only people that could broadcast were like stations, right? It was a big expense. And then all of a sudden, the internet comes along, and now I'm able to broadcast to an audience from there. And then utilizing YouTube, I have access to billions of people. I want you guys to think about that. In the day, back 25 years ago, even NBC could only broadcast where? In the United States. And then they had to use affiliates, and there was a whole network to broadcast their stuff around the world. Now, me as an individual, I can broadcast around the world. There's only a problem with that is, yes, it saves me money. I'm not spending $200 at Kinko's, but it really didn't build a long-term residual wealth for me because, again, centralized factors took control of the internet and said, you know what? We are going to monetize this. And that's where you come up with the super wealthy, right? The Elons and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Amazons that built these massive fortunes because they said, wait a minute, people are going to come here in droves. And instead of me just using products on it, I'm going to develop and build products. Well, now we have this future where Satoshi, whoever it may be, comes up with and puts together a package of this decentralized mechanism that says, wait a minute, instead of a central authority, let's spread that authority out to a network in a decentralized fashion. And now all of a sudden that gives birth to what people are looking at, the metaverse. So all of this stuff is coming together, and the next giant shift is going to come. But here's the difference is there can be people, and I believe off of blockchain Web 3.0, there will be, if it goes to a centralized fashion, there will be people that will be wealthier than Elon is right now in Amazon or Jeff Bezos, right? There will be somebody who has the possibility of hitting $1 trillion net worth. Except it doesn't need to be that way. What it could be is instead of one person having $1 trillion, there could be 1 million people having $1 million, right? There could be a much broader spread outside of this thing. But what's the determining factor whether that happens or not? Us, the people. We are the deciding factor. Community is commerce. Community is commerce. It's always been commerce. It's just community has been commerce for what? Big corporations, for Amazon. The Amazon community is damn sure commerce for, of course, some sellers on there. My wife is one of them. She does very well selling on Amazon, 50,000, 60,000 a year. But for the most part, she's still selling a product to people through Amazon and Amazon. We need to flip that upside down. And that's the opportunity that's in front of us right now. And I look at it and I think, man, community is commerce. How do we get people to have a vision bigger than, I got that NFT 6 months ago and it's not worth $10,000 today, so it must not ever going to be worth anything, right? Instead of saying, I own this NFT, so now what I need to do, what I want to do, what I should do is go out and share this project with passion every single day. Talk to my friends about it and say, oh man, I wish you were part of the MMAC. There's a young kid who's running it, who's got a great vision, who's moving in this direction, or whether it's whatever the project is, NSI, TruBadger, any of these and many other projects. There's a lot of bad projects out there, but there's a lot of great projects out there that we can get behind and push this idea of a decentralized future, something that where our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids are able to sit down and say, we live in a better future. Their today, our future is better because my grandfather, grandmother, my mom, my dad did not sit back and sit on their hands and let the big corporations. Look, is Meta going to control the metaverse? If they do, that is a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. Who should control the metaverse? The people that are on it, the people that are using it, the people that are participating. Does there need to be something that is helping organize and keep it safe and all that? Absolutely. That's our partner, Otherverse. But the people should be the benefactors from that side of it. And so, there's two ways, things can go. They can get worse or they can get better. And I believe that if it goes in a centralized fashion, it's going to keep getting worse. If we, the people, come together and start getting on a soapbox, guys, that's what I'm talking about. You not just being a holder of crypto, you not just being a purchaser of NFTs, but getting on a soapbox and start talking to friends and family and people and doing recordings and put them up on YouTube. I don't care if 8 people look at it, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, getting up there and say, guys, this is our time. It's our opportunity to seize and make this a better world for our futures. Because that's what decentralized is. It's not a product for you just to use. It is not a mechanism just for you to get a new car or, become wealthy. It's a mechanism to improve society, to make this world a better place. And by the way, if you do it right, you do it with the right people, you can become wealthy off of it. The proof is already there. Sitting down with the kid that we were just on, again, I say kid, mid or late 20s. His first fortune he made at 18 years old was a Litecoin move, right? Litecoin shot up. He had gotten into Litecoin, missed Bitcoin, got into Litecoin when it came out, bought a bunch of it, small amount, boom, it blows up into a fortune. Goes out and then creates businesses off of that and opportunities. And now he's bringing value to the world in an incredible way, but also has an incredible lifestyle, an incredible amount of freedom because of what he's been able to do because of crypto, because of blockchain. So we have a bright future ahead of us. So if you guys have any questions, Corey, if you want to jump up and say anything, you guys listen to the small portion of the phone call overall. It's pretty incredible. Our partners, the value and what our partners have built, guys, and you can't see it, right? You're just sitting on the outside. You don't get to see the inside. That's why I'm trying to share with you guys what is there. But we have several partners that have the experience. They have the business acumen. They have the vision. They have the drive, and they have the past success to then now take that and put that into projects that you are tied to because you're part of the Nexus ecosystem, and not just tied to in a hey, I know that person, tied to in a way that you can benefit from digital assets that are going to grow tremendously because of the success that these partners and what they're creating. However, there's a part we need to play, and that is not the Nexus ecosystem contracting during this bear market, but we as people, not me as the lead manager of the project, but me as a user, as a holder, as a part of the Nexus ecosystem, and you as the part of this Nexus ecosystem. We need to get Nexus to start expanding in growth, in membership, in the number of people that are involved in it during this bear market, because then the talents, the know-how, all of everything that our partners are going to create, then can be transferred into a larger, more dynamic community. When I look at where we're at right now and we look at what we're accomplishing compared to what's in the world, it's amazing what the small community that we've built right now is doing and what we're bringing along. I could only imagine if we were 5 times the size that we are right now of active people that are engaging, we would be setting the frickin' world on fire, just 5 times bigger. That means for every one Jody, we had 5. For every one George, we had 5. For every one Lauren, we had 5. For every Lois, we had 5. For every Nadia, we had 5. If we could just do that in the next 60, 90 days, guys, what we would be able to do. Rising tide in this community raises all ships. But here's the key is you've got to have a ship in the harbor, right? You could be, if you're standing on the dock and the tide is rising, you might be like, holy crap, I'm going to drown, right? If it keeps rising. You have to have your rear end in a boat. It's got to be in a boat, which means you got to have a boat in the water. And guess what? The more boats in the harbor, the better it is for each and every single boat, whether you have a dinghy or a yacht. The more boats that are in this water, the better off it is. And that's the amazing part about it. Usually, in life, it's like, oh my goodness, we're going to make $1 million. Well, that's a lot of money. My wife watches ATG, right? And there's a group of ladies on there. I think there's like 30 something of them in there. And then there's a single comedian. If the single comedian wins and gets $1 million, they have $1 million, right? But if the group of 30 something people win, they have to split that $1 million and they get like $30,000 each. Look at the difference in that math. That's not the case here, because those 30 something people in a community-based function is not going to create $1 million prize. It could create a 30, 40, 50 million, $100 million prize, which means each and every single person that's involved gets and ends up with more. That's what we're sitting on. That's their passion that I hope you guys can get in your hearts and in your minds, and understand that if that's the case, you will not be able to do anything but talk to every single person you know about this. And again, you're not trying to convince them. All you're trying to do is share the facts of decentralization, blockchain, the fact that crypto is a representation of that blockchain. Corey, go ahead, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for that, Peter. Yeah, it's being on these calls, I can talk about two different things, but the psychology of where we are at as people that are heavily involved in the blockchain, Web3, the metaverse stuff, in particular, the NFT and crypto side of things, with our projects right now. I think it's human to be in this depressive state of the crypto winter. And especially if you're new to this first bear run, I know the perspective of it can be difficult for a lot of people, and it could be quote unquote depressive. But I think at the same time, if you're in this space and you've been here before, or if this is your first time, I think it's a very good opportunity to change your perspective of, this is an exciting time as someone getting involved in crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, to build something that could, and, with past projections of, we'll call it Bitcoin, and what that's done in the past after bear markets, it's a prime opportunity to be excited there's not a better place to be in a bear market to create production, whether that's, for a project, whether it's financially for your own portfolio, whether it's reaching out to make new connections or networks in the space or around the space, so that when things do start running and exploding, you have been prepared for that, and you took action before that happened, because you definitely don't want to be in the position after that happened saying, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, because we are right here, right now in the moment talking about it. And what we're doing at Nexus is day in and day out, countless hours, are creating these relationships in the bear market, creating these partnerships. Everybody's saying it's so hard to build in the bear market. If you can build in the bear market and you can create these solid foundations, partnerships, and network, then you can have the bounty of the fruits of your labor 1,000-fold in the next couple of months, or when that cold crypto winter ends. We don't know when it's going to be, but when it happens, it's going to be that explosion of all that work, all those connections, all those relationships, all that preparing that we did in the bear run is going to be exponentially shown in the bull market. So regarding the metaverse and our conversations with our partners at Otherverse, and all these other connections that we've made in our, especially our partnerships, these are monsters, you guys in the industry. These are smart, brilliant, genuine, integrity-filled people that we have aligned ourselves with. You do this for long enough, you're going to attract some of the same type of people. And our vision, our vow of helping change the world, make it a better place, has not wavered whatsoever. It's just, you have to filter through all the crap, so to speak, to get to these kind of people, and they have to filter through the crap to make their way to us. And that's where we're at this point in our ecosystem, is creating that and welcoming that and attracting that. And it's like this huge roller coaster. And so, I challenge you guys out there that are watching to reach out to somebody. Like Peter said, reach out to somebody, tell them about what's going on. Even people I'm really close to, I have to explain, that crypto isn't going away. It's just in a bear market. And there's a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, I shoulda, coulda, woulda conversation. And, I think it's just an important point to be passionate about what you're speaking of, and just point them in the right direction. And so it's an exciting time, whether it feels like the perception of the depression downside of things, that's a great flag for time to get involved, and these are exciting. So that's all I got, Peter. I'm just stoked, and I know I can speak for the team every day when we say this is insanely mind-blowing how we're connected to these people, like the tops of the top of the people in the industry. And once those things come hit and click and we hit a few of these home runs, we'll remember this day. We'll remember this time of the bear. So back to you, Peter.
Excellent. Of course, you guys see in the chat, Hayden has mentioned about the Celestials coming. I believe it's October 1st, right?
Yes, October 1st.
October 1st. If you want to trade in 4 of your Martians and burn those for a Celestial, I've seen the artwork. They're incredible. It's moving in the right direction. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in the background there, moving things forward and making stuff happen. Guys, I got to tell you, if we want to create, so early on, whitelist October 1st, public October 2nd. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. There's only going to be 200 of them. It will reduce the supply, of course, of the Martians that are in the marketplace. So that's going to be great to see that supply reduce. And of course, for the new characters to be introduced into the ecosystem and continue to move things forward and continue to keep those going. Corey mentioned about, look, it's people that get in the bear market that are able to see through it are the ones that, are going to build massive. That's what's happened every single time. We don't even have to guess at this point, right? We know that people that get in and build or in and then stick around during bear markets are the ones that end up with 1 million of that token that blows up and goes crazy, right? The vast majority of people that actually did extremely well on Doge were people who bought when Doge was less than a penny, right? When it was sub a penny, and they believed in it and they held on to it. And then several years later, it blew up into 50 cents or whatever it is. Some people decided to hold, and now it's down again. And maybe they're not they're not where, they were, but they're still better off than when it was sub a penny, right? There were some people who said, man, this thing blew up. It's overheated. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put it into other cryptos and do those type of things. But guys, I just believe, and I know that there's an absolute fortune. This is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest shift in history, right? The balancing of where money sits and how it gets used and how it gets distributed. I absolutely believe in that. But I also believe that, again, decentralized networks, what this can bring in, and this is including blockchain, metaverse, Web 3.0, all of this combined together, all wrapped up, NFTs, who knows what else is coming, DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organizations, a balance between those, centralized and decentralized, working in concert with each other and fast with each other. I believe it is the one thing that everybody can do to make sure that we have a better future, right? To make sure that, I'm looking at a picture of Dawn there on the screen with Bryce, right? Bryce is getting ready to become a teenager, right? And, hugely great life in front of him. Are we going to make this better for Bryce, or are we going to make it where it's, we're sitting there going, goodness gracious, it's not your parents' America, right? It's not your parents' world. It's not, this idea that they have a better future for it. I actually talk to my kids about this type of stuff all the time. Is, they have friends, they're like 24 years old, 23 years old, 28 years old, and they're on antidepressants. Guys, do you remember that are in my age group? Do you remember that many kids that were depressed in their 20s? I mean, it's incredible, right? When you sit down and you look at it and you say, man, what has changed? What's different? I think part of it is because we didn't have the web. we didn't know that we weren't in control of our lives, right? We thought we were every day, right? And then all of a sudden we wake up and we figure out that it's really this small group of central authority, right? And when I say small group, it's not a few people, it's, you know, tens of thousands of people, right? Different corporate CEOs and politicians, not just here in the US, but around the world, whether it's Canadian politicians or US politicians or Korean politicians or whoever it is, that these are the people that can make a decision that can affect millions of lives, hundreds, tens of millions of life, one person, right? Perfect example is Russia right now, right? Invading Ukraine. One person's desire, right? That then builds a coalition around himself, a small group of people that go, hey, let's go do this and wreak havoc around the world. So this is our opportunity to make a difference and change. And I truly believe that. But we will be the ones that will determine whether that happens. Bear or bull, believe in Badger. It has the Nexus. It's all you need to win. Thank you for that, Patrick. Guys, and yeah, we're a community of people that have come together for the common purpose of helping everyday people get to participate in incredible opportunities. And those opportunities are there. And I'd love to say, oh my goodness, guys, we had the most easiest, wonderful day every single day, and everything goes like perfectly well. And but it's a battle every single day, especially in this bear market. And what we need really are the help of the community to stand up and help us grow this thing. It is not good to build during the bear market, guys. We really need to. If we want to hit, I'd love to. And my idea has always been, let's create $1 trillion in wealth, right? $1 trillion in wealth can make 1 million millionaires, right? If you take $1 trillion, it's 1 million millionaires, okay? I would love to sit there and go, and of course it wouldn't be spread equally, right? There'd be probably millions of 100,000-aires, and then, you know, a few 100,000 millionaires, and then, you know, hopefully lots of, tens of millions of 10,000-aires and 20,000-aires and 50,000-aires that are able to now have a little bit better life, right? Especially when you start talking about people in the third world countries, right? Right now, I mean, if I have $1 million, it won't last me a lifetime. But you give somebody in a third world country 20 grand of wealth that they build up, they could live their entire lives on that very comfortably, right? So it's all scalable, right? Of how many people that we can affect and benefit. But it's got to become a rallying cry of this community, not a rallying cry of Peter Gantner. It's got to become a rallying cry of this community. That community is commerce. The participatory economy is coming. And we need to grow it. We need to share it. We need to bring this home. And then, so next AMA, right? We got, 25 people on the Zoom. It looks like 24 people on the Zoom. I don't know how many we have on the YouTube. Guys, we should be trying to grow this. We should be saying, hey, we're going to get 50 people on the Zoom. We're going to get, and not just members. How many people would like to have some of their friends had been on here today and heard what we're talking about and where we're moving? So 32 on YouTube. So we've got, 56 people here. We should shoot for 100 next week for it to be able to hear our hearts and look at what it is that we're here to accomplish, that their life in the future can be better, and that the answer is decentralization. I bet you if I went to a group of 10,000 people and they were sitting there in a room and I said, guys, what do you know about decentralized networks? What do you know about blockchain? What do you know about crypto? What do you know about Web 3.0? 99% of the people would say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking. What do you mean? And so here is something that's happening in the background for them that could make their future better, make their kids' future, their grandkids, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But yet they're blind to it. We are the answer to that. going out and sharing it with friends and family and people and having the discussions and saying, listen, take an hour out of your day, get on the next AMA, look and see what these guys are doing. Community is commerce. Community is commerce. Let's build the community that then allows us to direct our energy, not towards fraudulent projects and this other stuff, but towards projects that have passionate people that have helped put it together, whether it's a community or a person or whatever it may be, to where the right metaverse wins, the right security product wins, the right layer 2, right? This idea of integrating the entire thing wins, because we have the community that can then sit down, talk to them, find the right people, and then put our effort and energy in behind them. I've never had it in my life where the ability to have the inside track on being able to get with the heads of these companies and have intimate conversations with them about what their plans are and what their future are. And to be able to be, as they said today for the call that I was just on there as a fly on the wall. I would have loved for every single person on here to have been a fly on the wall on this call that we just did right before we got here. I mean, literally left it and came right over here. Because you would right now be highly energized. You'd be passionate. You'd say, oh my goodness, I got to go share this with some people. And I'm so blessed because I had a platform here because of the internet, because of all the stuff that's happened. I was blessed to have a platform to share it right now with 50 something people, a few hundred people will watch this in replays, to get a message out that says, guys, this is our moment. This is our time. Let's go seize it. Let's take back our lives in a much bigger way than they are right now. Let's go make a difference in the world. Let's go lift people out of poverty. Let's figure out a way to get away from the tension and the stuff. By the way, Brian was talking about what the internet has done as far as the tension that it's created in so people ask me, what's the biggest thing about the metaverse that has the potential? And it is to reverse the damage that, and again, this is Brian's belief system, it's my belief system, to reverse the damage that Web 2.0 did with social media, literally splitting families and all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to think of the word, and it's just not like a complex word, but the tension, the discourse that has been created because people were able to share opinions, that the division. There you go. Thank you, Jody. Jody's always there to rescue me, guys. This is the power of a community. Jody, thank you so much. The division that has been created by Web 2.0, imagine Web 3.0 and being able to know now what was done in Web 2.0 and being able to solve that in Web 3.0, where we're able to build something that will bring people together, allow us to have conversations that are not confrontational, but are solution oriented to be able to move stuff forward. That's the promise of the future. That's the promise that Web 3.0 can and will have, and it will have it because there's people like you, myself, that are going to stand up and we're going to tell the world about it. We're not going to sit by idly and wait and see what other people create for our futures. We're going to stand up. We're going to step forward. We're going to grab our shield, our sword, whatever you want to do in the idea. I like to think of things in battles, right? Because, you can win a battle. Pick it up, and we're going to carry this forward. We're going to all get soapboxes. It's the blockchain, cryptocurrency, Web 3.0, metaverse, NFT soapbox. And we're going to stand on our soapboxes, and we're going to tell the world that community is commerce. Get involved and participate in this new economy, the participatory economy. And the best place to do that is the Nexus ecosystem. Guys, thank you for joining us today. We're going to get back to work, moving things forward. I'm telling you, the projects that are moving forward that we've partnered with, in the next bull market are going to be tremendous. Don't just sit on the sidelines, listen a little bit, get active now, get yourself in a position to help us change the world. And by the way, happen to build a large digital portfolio in the process. Dawn, anything you got, Dawn? Say hi and say goodbye to everybody. Give them your thoughts real quick.
And bye. No, I'm glad. Thank you, because this was a great talk. It was a great chat. A lot of things y'all said really resonated with me, not because I'm a team member and I know the things that we're working on, and I know the very exciting things that are coming that are going to rescue us, right? Because we're all kind of in the same boat. But just as a community member and looking at this market and trying to live through this market, right? It's been a long time to be in this place, and it really teeters on discouraging. Just personally, right? You just watch it every day and you keep hoping and praying that things get better, and it just doesn't. And it's just day after day after day. But you're so right. It's this community keeps us going. This community, we're doing everything we do every day, 7 days a week for you guys, as well as for us. We want all of you guys to succeed and make it through this. And, I may not have a big boat, but I definitely, at the very least, have an oar, and I can certainly do my part and paddle. And I would so encourage everybody to help us. It doesn't take much. You don't have to, have big platforms. You don't have to go and speak to millions of people. You don't have to do anything hard. We've got, social media that we've got to build for every project we do. It's such a crucial piece, and it's such a simple thing to share a tweet. I mean, we've talked about it so many times. It literally takes seconds, and you would be so surprised at the impact that has on our projects, and these investors and influencers that are willing and wanting to help us, but they look at our social media and they're so underwhelmed. And we are too. And we don't blame them for questioning, why we're working so hard on this project. Why are we doing this when our social media is so blah, but we're trying so hard, but we need you. It is such a desperate situation to make these projects successful for all of us. And we're all working hard, but we just want to get a little bit of help from you guys. I am working on the Chrome tool, by the way. If you guys were here with us in Kula, we use the Chrome tool to push social media, and I'm really working hard to make it a crypto version of Chrome tool. We'll talk more about that very soon. But we're going to help you help us, right? That Jerry Maguire line, help me, help you. So just please do what you can. We'll throw some posts out there occasionally here and there that we really need, your impact on, and just sharing and retweeting and commenting relevant comments would be such an amazing help to us.
Well, Dawn, you brought this up. I was closing it off, but you brought up this thing you really needed to talk about. No, it's perfect because we need it to. Guys, Stardom Chance has a Twitter account, and we're working on getting collabs and to be able to help drive it. We need people to go comment on those. We need people to retweet them. And we need people to love them, right? To put a heart on here. I know we had 30 something on the view. I know a couple hundred people are going to watch this in replay. That means what? That everybody here, even if you don't have a Twitter account right now, if you're like, well, I would like to help Peter, but I don't have a Twitter account, go to Twitter. It's free to get an account, right? It's free. And then just sign up for an account, go in, retweet one today, put a heart on it. A couple hours later, go back and do a second one. Tomorrow, do 2 or 3 more. And as you go through the page, like, share, comment. We should have, because we have over 50 something people here, we should have at least have in the next few days, 50 something hearts and 50 something retweets on all those posts. And if, with the people watching this in replay, 200 people, let's say, are going to end up watching this, maybe 300 people in replay. We should have 200 or 300 over the next week on every one of our tweets, and then just follow it. And then just naturally, when they come out, just go in and heart it, retweet it, and, look at the post, make a comment on it. We need to drive this. If we drive this the right way, then other projects that have 4,000 people that own their NFTs already, a community, will say, wow, look at this engagement on their post. Yes, we'll do a collab with you. This is where you guys come in. Without the community, this is why community is commerce. Community says this is interesting. Like, shares, comments, all this stuff. Community says this is interesting, which then brings in more people to it. And then that helps us build this and make it amazing. Dawn, I'm going to turn it back over to you. You're going to go ahead and wrap it up and say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And thank you for being the best part of the Nexus ecosystem.
Yes, amen. Thank you guys so much. We will see you on the next one. And if you need any help with anything, Twitter, you have questions, you don't understand the mechanics of what we're asking you to do, we're always here to help. I'm sure our help desk would be happy to help you get a Twitter account, whatever you need to do there. We will show how to do retweets and likes and all of that. Maybe the next AMA, we can have a session where we really walk through it and the whole mechanics of it and everything. We'll talk about that. But thank you guys very, very much. Thank you for your love and support, and I'll always be